I tested HIV positive in May of 2000. I was in South Africa working as a priest in the parish of Christchurch, Mayfair. And when I first tested HIV positive, antiretrovirals were not available in South Africa. It was a time of hope, but despair. People across Europe and North America had access to these life-saving drugs, but they had not yet reached us in South Africa or on the African continent. Because I worked for the church, I had access to a medical aid, and through the medical aid, my doctor was able to prescribe antiretrovirals for me. My medical aid covered 6 months of ARVs. 6 months I had to purchase myself. Then the church decided that they needed to change medical aids, and all of us were asked to give responses to whether we felt the current medical aid or another one was better. I went to go and meet with the diocesan chancellor, and I said to him that the medical aid that the church wanted to move us onto did not provide any assistance for antiretrovirals, and therefore I would be placed in a position of having to purchase all my antiretrovirals from my salary. I can tell you, a month's salary as a priest in South Africa was just enough to cover a month's antiretrovirals. No change for groceries. The response from the diocesan chancellor, the representative of the church, was to say to me, "And why do you think all the clergy of the Diocese of Johannesburg should be taxed for your transgressions? Why should we have to pay for your sinfulness?" So that was the first love response I got from the church. The church has moved on since then. In 2002, we founded the network INRELA, the International Network for Religious Leaders Living with or Personally Affected by HIV, and we have a branch of INRELA here in Europe, actually in Sweden. But it is with such joy that I have seen that Noah's Ark Mosaic here in Malmö has made part of their focus working with religious leaders, so that we who hide behind the collar and the costume can also understand the reality of people's lives. Judgment is mine, said the Lord, and yet faith communities have very frequently taken that judgment to themselves. But I can say this much to you. The reason I am in Sweden was because the Church of Sweden invited me to be here to work on HIV. That is what first brought me here. And the very first question I asked of my then boss was, "And what does the church have to say about my HIV status?" And the answer I got was, "Absolutely nothing. We receive you with joy, and you will have full access to antiretrovirals." Now, let me just make quite clear, we haven't reached a place where there is zero stigma around HIV. Not in society, not in the church, and neither in the mosque. But we have, even if only in this service now, committed to work together more closely as we seek to find answers to these big questions of who am I as a person living with HIV and a person of faith. God bless us as we together seek to find answers.